Hello Ice and Fire Nerds, this is Chris and welcome back to another Game of Thrones Season 7 filming news video. So although filming has completely wrapped up on Game of Thrones Season 7, Watchers on the Wall today released some new set photos. So let's jump right in and go through those and see what we can deduce from these photos. Warning, this may contain potential spoilers, but I am just going to be speculating on some pictures, so I don't think there's any groundbreaking spoilers here, but just a fair warning.
Dracarys.
Alright, so let's jump right in. The first picture we have here is a picture of looks to be a bedroom in Winterfell, so not a lot given here as far as the picture goes, but perhaps it's something like Arya's bedroom as she comes back to Winterfell, or even Bran's. You know, Bran hadn't slept in a bed in a long time, so perhaps this is something to do with Arya or Sansa, or a room they have a conversation in or something along those lines. So not a lot here, but it looks to be a bedroom in Winterfell. And next here we have a picture of the courtyard at Casterly Rock. That's right, Casterly Rock is finally going to be seen in Game of Thrones. Of course, this is the seat of House Lannister. You can see here from the picture over the archway here, you can see the golden lions of Lannister painted on the wall. If there's one thing I can deduce from this picture is it looks like the Lannisters do have ATVs. So they do have ATVs. You can see the tracks there through the middle of the courtyard. And you'd think that with the Lannisters being as rich as they are, they'd build some statues and shit, but they decided just to throw some stickers up on the wall of their house sigil. So we are learning here that the Lannisters are cheap. And in our next picture here from the set, we have some Unsullied, all in black and wearing looks to be like Westerosi style clothing now, because it's going to be a little bit colder here in Westeros as compared to Essos, where they wore sleeveless tunics, etc. But what's really interesting here is they're standing here in front of Euron's ship. This is going to be Euron's ship called Silence, and you can see that by the kraken on the end of the ship here. So it looks like this may be a dock scene where there's going to be some kind of battle, but we do see a green screen in the background, so this looks to be Euron's boat called Silence. Cool looking ship. The Greyjoys are known for this. They're looking badass on the sea. So this looks to be like some port scene perhaps where Euron is docked somewhere, and perhaps there's going to be a battle right there on the port, because I don't think the Unsullied are standing on water. And in our next scene, about the same thing here, just the Unsullied standing here on set, probably the ship being to the right of the picture here. So not really much to deduce from this picture other than, you know, they need to pick up their shit. And the next scene, basically the same thing, just the same spot here. It looks to be where the Unsullied are just waiting to film perhaps. We see their shields and their helms and their spears on the ground here. I guess that's just markers as to where they're supposed to stand. So the only thing we see here in the background is some kind of badass forklift. So yeah, really nothing to pick up from here other than we have Unsullied and forklifts. And in our next picture here, we see some Lannister soldiers getting ready to film. And apparently this is in the same location as the Unsullied and Euron's ship, Silence. So we may have a battle here on the shore in a dock somewhere of the Unsullied versus the Lannisters. So at this point, it would seem, if this is in the same location, which I cannot confirm that the Lannisters have already made a deal with Euron, so it looks like Euron and Cersei already at this point have some kind of alliance. And really I can't deduce much more from this picture other than the fact that these costumes look very uncomfortable for everybody that's wearing them. And in our next picture here, we do see Euron's ship, Silence, and obviously we can tell this by this big kraken here on the end. In the books, these ships are designed to look badass on the sea because this is their thing. They are reavers, they are raiders, they are pirates. So unless they're going to do some CGI stuff where we see them in the sea, again, this may be a dock scene where he is in a dock or a bay somewhere, and that may be where this little skirmish takes place. So anyway, it's really cool to see the Greyjoy ship Silence, because in the books these ships are badass, and of course they're designed with the Kraken logo to strike fear in the hearts of anybody they come across on the open sea. So in our next picture here we have a White, and it looks to be a former wildling White, so he is a White. Otherwise this is a picture from the wrong set, perhaps this is The Walking Dead, but going by the clothing here, this looks to be a former wildling turned White, so perhaps this is the White in question as far as who they're supposed to be capturing to take down south to show Dany and Cersei. And finally here we have a picture of some wildlings here and perhaps a few people from the Night's Watch. It looks to be like there's one guy on the right there with darker garb on. Perhaps he is a member of the Night's Watch, but it's hard to tell. These don't look to be Whites because everybody has their hair, and a lot of red hair by the way. So these don't look to be Whites where they're all tore up and skulls and shit like that. Usually Whites have green sleeves on, etc. So the CGI department can later go back and add skeleton arms, etc. So these look to be like they're alive. So this is a group of wildlings. But it's really hard to say by this picture what is actually going on. I would say this is likely north of the wall, although most of the wildlings Jon rescued are south of the wall. You would think any remaining wildlings north of the wall would be Whites by this point, because of course we did see Hardhome and the rest of them get turned. So perhaps Jon just took a group of wildlings from the north when he goes on his little adventure north of the wall to capture a White. And it's really hard to see with this picture here, but there's one guy here right in the center that's kind of staring at the camera, and right behind him there's a guy that kind of looks like Tormund Giantsbane, and of course I can't really tell for sure, but it could be Tormund right there in the middle. So if that is the case, that would indicate that this is Jon and his group and a group of wildlings with him. headed up north of the wall to perhaps capture that white that's supposed to happen in Season 7. So anyway, guys, that's it for today. With just a few new pictures from the filming sets of Game of Thrones Season 7. So let me know what you think in the comments below. As usual, thank you for all the support, especially to you guys on Patreon. And as usual, a huge shout out to my Patreon executive smokescreen producers, Hoss Griffin, Volguy10, Lala Gig, Kisa Powell, Mark Joseph, aka The Snow in Winterfell, Marilyn Bentley, Joanna, and Sean Hayes. Thank you guys so much. And thank you to everyone out there in YouTube land as usual for all the support. Be sure to subscribe to get everything, and make sure you click that notification bell to know when I drop a new video. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.